either more money or they want access to the American basketball system. So they're leaving their clubs and they're coming over. So it's made a big impact.
Right. So we had a big stretch of, I think, 2 different stretches of summer workouts.
Yep.
And so just your overall impression of the 2 that I went to. I mean, I was so impressed from, say, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the amount of stuff that was getting done and the amount of stuff that they were grasping so soon, especially like on the defensive and the defensive drills you guys are doing.
Well, we lost Trey and Baylor, and obviously they're a huge piece of the puzzle, and so is Farabello coming off the bench and the leadership that he provided. So this summer was very important to us to make sure we had a really good summer, started to implement our game plan, our culture to these young guys, and overall, I thought it was really well. We have 3 young guys that are really good, really talented. But college basketball is hard for young guys too. So, brought in Jackson McAndrew from Minneapolis, Ty Davis from Birmingham, and Larry Johnson from SoCal Academy from Georgia originally, but played at SoCal Academy. So, 3 really talented freshmen, and then Pop Isaacs transfer from Texas Tech, was all conference player in the Big 12. So we're really excited about him, and Jemiah Neal, transfer from Arizona State, can really fill it up, really score it. So, we're really excited about our guys, our team. It's going to be a little different than last year, but, guys that we're very excited about.
Coach, what are your impressions early on of this non-conference schedule? And then when do you anticipate that you guys will have the full picture with the Big East schedule out?
Yeah, the Big East schedule should come out any week. Any day now, really. The Big East, because it's a little different than most leagues, they have to wait till the NBA schedule and the hockey NHL schedules come out. So once they go out, then they pick the days that that we can play in the Madison Square Garden and all these other NBA and NHL venues that most of our Big East opponents play in. And once that gets worked out, then they'll come out with a schedule, which I believe the NBA schedule just came out. NHL might already came out too. So we should get that any day, where we're playing, what we're doing for a schedule. Now, our non-conference schedule is ridiculous. I mean, we have probably one of the top, 5 schedules probably all in the country. Play Alabama's top 5, play Kansas top 5. Texas A&M has, I believe, 7 returners back or something like that. So it's going to be a very challenging schedule, and we like our team, though. We think they'll be up to it.
From the start of workouts till the end, like if you could pinpoint 1 or 2 guys that you think took the biggest step, whether it be a new guy or somebody that was here last year, who would that be?
Jason Green's made some big steps, big strides in his game, becoming more skilled, being able to make shots.
He looked more comfortable out there.
Yeah, Well, freshmen become sophomores,
right.
And he's more comfortable, like you said, Tim, more comfortable out there. Isaac Trout lost some weight, so he'll be really be able to, have a little more mobility out there, being able to guard different guys. But, we're just excited about everybody. I mean, Stephen Ashworth coming back, he's a great leader. He'll be a great asset to our team and leadership and his ability to make shots. Pop Isaacs played in Monster Conference for 2 years and had a lot of success. We played against him in Maui a couple of years ago, and he was really good. And then Jemiah Neal can score it, and he's had a lot of Pac-12, high major success. And, Mason had a pretty good summer until he got injured, and Kalkbrenner's going to be one of the top 2-3 bigs in the whole country. So then we have our young guys coming off the bench or whatever, how it all shakes out. Obviously we're going through that moment right now where we're trying to figure out who's starters, who's coming off the bench. Everything's earned, nothing's given. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks as we start preparing, because it's right around the corner now.
Yeah. We had Jemiah on our show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
What a refreshing guy to talk to.
He was great. He's a good personality, a very outspoken young man, and he's a really good kid.
And I could tell he really wants to prove people that he can shoot the basketball.
No question.
And I know that one of the days I was there, he shot very well, and he's just like, it's just a totally different structure, which takes me some time to learn.
It's with him and with a lot of people. A lot of kids coming into one program. And every program does a little different. They're all successful for the most part, but they're all a little different. They're not quite like us, and it takes a little time to learn a new culture, new setting. What's a good shot in our program versus this program that he just played in? So he's going through all that learning process this summer, and he will this fall, and hopefully be ready when we tip it off in November.
Yeah. So this game against Purdue was rumored a while back, and then we kind of had to wait till everything got settled and approved and everything. But now it's on for Saturday night in October. That ought to be a great. And I know some people are like, well, Edie's not there, but they still have a bunch of talented guys coming back.
Yeah. No, it'd be awesome to kick off the season against a really good Purdue basketball team and one of the best coaches in the country, and Coach Painter. And, it'd be awesome just to get our guys out there under the lights a little bit before the season really kicks off and it's really for real against a quality opponent like Purdue and a well-coached team like Purdue.
Yeah, and it's for a good cause, too.
Yeah.
That's cherry on top. What else?
No, just we're excited about the year. It's going to be awesome. I mean, we're looking forward to it. Kickoff practice here. Official practice into September, but we're starting to do 4-week workouts 4-hour-a-week workouts on the court, 4-hour-a-week workouts in the strength and conditioning component with Jeremy Anderson. Excited about our team, excited about the leadership we got coming back, and excited about the new kids coming into our program, learning our culture.
How's Pop-Up? I know I saw him when he was just getting back in the form, and, the conditioning probably wasn't there because he's been laid up for quite a while, right?
No, he had labrum surgery. He played the whole season last year with a torn labrum. He had labrum surgery on his hip right after the season, and, after the season, he had that surgery, and he had a little recovery time, but he probably had full go like the last 2 practices of the summer. So he's coming back. We'll still probably bring him in a little slowly just because we haven't done a lot of strength and conditioning in the last couple of weeks because the guy's been off, but we'll probably bring him along a little slowly just to strengthen that labrum and make sure he's 100% healthy when we kick off. But he's for the most part, we'll go now.
Coach, a couple of these, now that rosters have been set for a while now in the Big East, who are a couple of programs that when you guys as a staff look at some of these rosters and who guys were brought in from the portal or freshmen or guys coming back, what are a couple of rosters that stand out to you of programs that could maybe take a leap this year in the league?
I would say probably St. John's is probably the biggest one. They really got in the portal. They really utilized NIL to create a really good roster, and they're coached by one of the best coaches in the country in the history of college basketball, Rick Pitino. So they made a lot of strides. I think their roster is a lot better. I think he's had a year to implement his program too. So there'll be a challenge. I mean, UConn obviously reloaded. They're going to be tough. So Marquette's going to be really good too. So the league's going to be really, really tough. And then obviously we had some coaching changes with DePaul, and Coach Holtman came in there, so they'll be a little better than they were last year. And Georgetown just got a really good center just recently too, a kid from New Zealand. So they're going to be a little bit better. So it's going to be challenging. Non-conference, and it's always the Big East is a monster, and it's going to be a challenging conference season too.
You probably saw Richmond was going to transfer, and you thought, oh, great. And then he goes to another team in the Big East.
Exactly.
Hey, what college basketball as a whole, if there was one rule you'd like to change or implement, what would it be?
Oh, there's 2 rules I'd probably really like to implement, and they're probably NBA rules. I'd like to shorten the shot clock to 24 seconds, just speed up the game, speed up the flow of the game, and I would like to have the advanced rule on a timeout late in game too.
You would like that?
I think it adds more excitement. There's 2 seconds on the clock or 3 seconds on the clock. You call a timeout, you can advance the ball. You're just going to get a better shot than a half-court heave or a three-quarter court heave. So it adds a lot of excitement to the game, in my personal opinion.
Okay, interesting.
And it's more strategy to the game because now all of a sudden, we have so few side out bounce. So, our side out package offensively is probably more than most teams, but you just don't get a lot of those opportunities where the NBA, their side out package is extensive. They're huge, and so the chess of playing those side outs in basketball becomes more important.
Then there would probably be a strategy too in the last 10, 15 seconds of the game to not shoot that ball too quickly. You know what I mean? Like on the offensive end.
Exactly. It changes strategy. There's more strategy to the game, and I kind of like that aspect of it.
All right. All right, man.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Thank
you so much for having me.
Thank you. Coach. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Assistant Coach Ryan Miller joining us here on Bluejay Banter. We just want to talk about one of our sponsors here, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. 2 great locations, one at Pierce Street and one just north of the Schwab headquarters. They've been around these parts for a long, long time, Equitable Bank. And they take the headache away from banking with their personal checking made easy, no minimum balance, free online bill pay, electronic statements. You get it all with the Equitable Bank checking account. They've evolved with the technology as times have gone, and like I've mentioned many times in the Pierce Street location, just a very upscale type of bank when you walk in, not something you're normally going to see when you go into another bank, and it just enhances the whole experience. Their customer service is off the charts. So check them out today. That's Equitable Bank, and they do take banking personally? How you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm well. I'm well. Yeah.
You're grinding through
another
the summer?
Monday, man. Yeah, it's pretty alarming the older you get how quick summer goes.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Like the fact that football starts on Saturday is crazy to think about. Totally crazy to think about.
Yeah, and the fact that coach is already talking about 4-hour workouts twice a week, and pretty soon they'll be into their full bore.
Yeah, it's they go at it kind of right away now.
Yeah,
we used to ease into it. We used to really in the fall basically just play pickup, and like there would be a couple of days where you did some individual workouts, but nothing.
Because it was always October 15th, wasn't it?
Yeah, about October 15th. That's when you ramped up, and then you have about a week of Creighton. I don't know what it still is. I think it still is, but fall break used to be a full week, so we'd have 2 days that whole week. But yeah, rules are different now. They kind of ramp up right away.
So first, I want to just get to some news and notes here that have occurred over the last couple of weeks. We were with you 2 weeks ago. Number 1 came out today. Creighton volleyball, number 12 in the country, from the AVCA coaches poll, top 25. So that makes it the 13th straight year they've been ranked in some form or another. 6 ranked teams on the Jays schedule. So we know this every year. Coach Booth has just one of the most challenging schedules in the country. Nebraska, Purdue, Louisville, Kansas, USC, and then Marquette twice. Maybe obviously the third time in the Big East tournament. They did do a blue and white scrimmage that they usually have every year, and the white beat the blue in 5 sets. They'll have another exhibition game this Saturday at Colorado State, one of the top teams in the Mountain West, and then they'll kick off the season. The second thing we want to talk a little bit about, we mentioned briefly with Coach Miller, is the Purdue game. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm out of town, so I can't attend. But I'm actually really, really curious for an exhibition like that, what the crowd's going to be like. I
think it'll be.
I think it'll be really. Sellout. You think it'll be a sellout? I was going to say maybe less than Purdue. A sellout, but gosh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Speaking of that, along that lines, the cool thing is season ticket holders. If you're a season ticket holder, if you haven't heard of this, you're a season ticket holder. You can go to Creighton.com, just go into the portal that you normally do to get your tickets, and in there'll be a link where you can purchase and reserve your own seats for the game, which is really cool.
That is cool.
Because a lot of times these things are just wide open and anybody can get anybody's seat. But here's the catch. You only have 1 week to do that. So starting today, and
so you could be a season ticket holder in the upper deck, and you can get in there early and snag second row seats.
No, you can. The first week, this week from Monday today, the 19th through next Sunday,
right?
You can get only your own season tickets. If you have season tickets in the upper deck, those are the seats you're getting. After that, starting next Monday, a week from today, that's when they go on sale to the public. And if you don't have season tickets, or if maybe you have tickets in the upper, and somebody in the lower bowl doesn't get them, you can jump on those. So that's gonna be a wild time next Monday. So so go check it out. Go to Creighton.com. You know where to get your tickets if you're a season ticket holder. It's the only way you can get them now is electronically. So go in and get them there. There'll be a link where you can sign up and get your own seats for the game against Purdue on October 26th. That's a Saturday. It'll be a 7 o'clock game. We always want those Saturday night games, so here we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're facing one of the best teams in the country in Purdue Boilermakers. By the way, so it is a benefit. It benefits Midlands Relief, and it's going toward all disaster relief. It's going toward all the damage from the tornadoes earlier this year. So it's going to a great cause. And Coach Painter readily agreed to it and said, I can't. He put out a statement and said something like, I can't wait to get back to that arena. Obviously, he'd been in that arena a few times coaching Southern Illinois, and he's just one of the best arenas in the country. Just very complimentary of Creighton, their program, the arena, and everything.
Did they ever play here for the NCAA tournament? For some reason,
I don't think so.
For some reason, I thought that they did, but maybe they didn't. Yeah.
Because it's always, we always get Kansas State, Kansas, Missouri, whatever pod those teams are in. That's who we seem to get.
Iowa State. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's October 26th. And on August 26th, that's when all the remaining seats will go on sale. And we were just briefly mentioning with Coach Miller about Purdue, and I know Zach Eady's not there, but you kind of get slapped in the face when you look at who's returning on their roster.
Yeah.
These are their top. These are all guys other than Eady, their top scorers from last year. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman-Wren, Miles Colvin, Caleb First, and a Minnesota kid, Camden Heide, who played, I believe he played prep ball at Wasatch Academy, which is familiar to Creighton fans because back in the day we had some recruits were recruiting out of that fine prep school. So at any rate, they're going to bring a very, very, very good team in here. I'm sure I would imagine they'll be ranked in the top 10 or 15 going into the season. I'd be surprised if they weren't.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be a fun exhibition game, that's for sure. Yeah, I wish I could be here.
All right, those news and notes brought to you by West Pacific Dental Group. They're committed to providing you and your loved ones with exceptional care in a compassionate and friendly atmosphere. They try and exceed expectations one patient at a time, and I can tell you, since Dr. Hogan is my dentist, they do that. They don't have a set plan where they're just going to come in and just cookie-cutter approach. They really talk to you about what would be the best treatment for you. They give you some options, and they're so friendly. Their staff is so great, and they just believe their patients deserve the best care, and we make an effort to make sure you always feel welcome, and they do. So check them out today. That's West Pacific Dental Group, Dr. Robert Hogan and his staff. The number is 402-697-0765. That's 402-697-0765. We'll give you a little bit of fall sports update. The women's soccer team has kicked off their season, had a road trip, went 1-1. They lost to Minnesota by the score of 2-1, and then came back and beat Iowa State on the road at 2-1. So they're 1-1 on the season, off to a decent start. Now they have a big break, but their first home game is August 29th. I think it's 4 p.m. match against the Golden Broncos. When I say that, which school is it? Golden Broncos.
Golden Broncos.
Don't cheat.
I don't think there's no such thing as the Golden Broncos.
There is.
I don't know if there is.
Broncos.
I mean, that might be specific to like women's soccer or something because I don't. Okay, who is it then?
Golden Broncos of Western Michigan.
It's just what? They're not the Golden Broncos.
Yeah,
no, they're
sure
not.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, Tim, we gotta. I don't know, man. I think we gotta look this up.
Well, I've been to some games there. I've been to some hoop games there, and that's what that's what they say.
Val, our producer Val, is saying that they are.
Val, I think for that, it's very seldom I get fact checked and I'm right.
I'm seeing it saying Bronco. Anyways, whatever.
Well, their colors are gold and
brown.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. Anyway, Western Michigan, 4 p.m. on August 29th. The men's soccer still in the exhibition phase. They've had 2 exhibitions against Northeast Community College, which they won 3-1, and then they took on Notre Dame and went out to Notre Dame and lost 1-0. They will open the season this Friday against FAU. The Owls come to town.
Hoot hoot.
And then this coming Sunday, they then take on the Drake Bulldogs. So get out to Morrison Stadium, get some soccer coming into town. That's great.
You know, I actually looked at randomly the soccer schedule like a week or 2 ago. I can't remember why I did. And a couple things stood out to me. One, I think I thought I saw that Oktoberfest was the Friday after Labor Day weekend. And that's the night before Nebraska-Colorado. So if you were, really a sports person, that's a heck of a weekend for you.
There you go. Absolutely. It is a big weekend. But that fall sports update is sponsored by Infusion Brewing Company. Their location in Southwest Omaha is a home to their production brewing, tap room, event space, outdoor space. You can rent it out for parties. It's a great location. I really suggest you get out there and take a look at it if you're thinking about having like a party of any size. They brew most of their packaged beer here, beer out there, and they have a great tasting area. They'll give you samples of any kind of beer they have to give you a taste and decide what you like. Talked crazy about it. We went out there a few weeks ago and got some beer, and we're just enjoying the heck out of it. And that, you've got that, which this beer will be very popular in the fall, I think. It's the dill pickle beer. And
you love this beer. You've talked about this beer a lot.
I'm going to try it here now that you mentioned football.
Yep.
Like to have Bloody Marys in the morning for football games. Mix a little bit that with the Bloody Mary mix, and
it feel when especially if you're going to a game, if you're going to tailgate and it's the morning, and you've got a full day ahead of you're watching games, you got a game maybe later on that day you're attending. There is nothing better than a nice cold Bloody Mary, and I would assume the dill pickle beer pairs really well with that.
Yeah, some people have really gotten into that. Also, they've got an orange dreamsicle. If you remember eating those as a kid, this beer tastes just like it. It's fantastic. So check them out. That's Infusion Brewing at 6271 South 18th Street, also a location up in Benson. And their phone number is 402-934. 2064. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. It's a good deal to go out there on a Sunday afternoon as well. So check them out. That's Infusion Brewing Company. What else you got on the tap? Been thinking anything about the Creighton Bluejays this year?
I haven't thought a lot about the Jays thus far. It's still summer. I mean, obviously I know the roster. I will be really interested to see who ends up being the starting five, and I think there's a chance that this is a year that the starting five could change some throughout the year. So that's going to be fascinating. It's fast approaching, though. I mean, the NBA season starts, literally in about 2 months, which is crazy to think about. So usually things are right around the corner from there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see the Big East schedule, which always seems to take forever.
It does, and I think a lot of years has come out after Labor Day.
Yeah, it has.
So
yeah,
and like Coach Miller said, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. You got hockey,
I get that.
NBA, you got and most arenas have stuff going on. And even like here in Omaha, there's concerts that go on. They've got to work around those and so on and so forth. So yeah. I want to get your opinion. I was really fascinated by his comment about what about the shot clock at 24? I understand why Creighton would want the shot clock to be 24. I don't know.
Yeah, the college game is
not as skilled offensively as the NBA.
No,
game.
God,
So
I mean, I can tell you, as a guy who watches a lot of basketball and I watch a lot of bad basketball at the Division I level throughout the year. There are just not. Now, it would make things certainly much more entertaining. There's just not a lot of programs. There's not a lot of teams that can efficiently do what they want to do with a 24-second clock.
Right.
Now, the flip side of that argument would be, well, that's a tell on the players, the coaching system, the coaches. Maybe if you can't efficiently run offense in 24 seconds, that's on you, which I actually tend to agree with. But there are a lot of coaches out there that want to, there's just so many more styles of play in college basketball. There's a lot of coaches that want to grind the shot clock and they want to play really slow. Look at Tony Bennett in Virginia being the most prominent example. So that would really kind of screw up their mojo. It's an interesting thought, though.
Plus, I think of early season, teams don't have it together yet.
Right.
They're facing real competition for the first or second time.
And I think coaches
could get a little sideways.
I think coaches would be terrified because it would probably lead credence to giving guys the green light that they don't want to have the green light, that they don't want to go try and create their own offense because the shot clock's running down because it goes much quicker. You know what I mean?
Right. I personally am against the moving the ball half court. Here's why. You've got to stop. You've stopped the other team. You get the ball, and you go down and score with 2 seconds left. I mean, you stop them. You ran the clock down. You scored a 2 set. I mean, you should not be disadvantaged by letting the other team move it to half court, and now can make it. In that time, you could make 2 passes.
Yeah.
And get a much easier shot than they would have the other way. I don't know. Maybe I would learn to love it.
Yeah, I don't have a hard opinion on it one way or the other. I do love, I'm a big NBA guy, as you know, so I do like when they advance it at the end of the game. It does make it more exciting, but I am a fan of whatever at the end of the game can make things go quicker, because we have a serious issue in our game of the last 2 minutes of every game taking so long, and it's frustrating. I hear it from people that aren't huge basketball fans either, that they say I can't. It's beyond obnoxious to sit at these games and watch these last couple of minutes play out over 30, 45 minutes. I mean, think of one that jumps off the top of my head last year was the Butler game at home. I mean, the end of that game took so long. It frustrates people. So I don't know what the rules are, or what rules they can bend to make that happen. But
I can tell you that because I was out of the country watching it on my phone, and I thought the whole thing froze up. I go, this game has to have gotten over with by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next thing I know, it moved, and then there was 5 seconds left instead of 7. And then
there was a lot of in that example. There were a lot of hectic plays of the ball getting batted around and ending up out of bounds. And so then what happens is they have to go replay to see who exactly it went off of. And so then there's timeouts, and then it's just something. And the interesting thing was, for those that watched the Olympics this summer, a few weeks ago, the FIBA game doesn't have that issue nearly as much. It seems, after I watched the World Cup last year and then I watched the Olympics this year, I didn't see near as much of that as I see over here. And I don't know what the reasoning for that is. Maybe they're just much more decisive, and they're just, hey, this is the call and this is what's happening. But the games never seemed to go, 30, 45 minutes to an hour in regulation over the allotted time.
Yeah.
And they seem to regularly do that here.
We should just, before we close here, we should just mention Zugic. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The foreign player from Montenegro.
Yeah.
He's on campus, but, there's a process of getting him eligible. The NCAA has to go check out all these things because professional basketball is in the equation here, okay? And I don't know to what degree and so forth. And anytime foreign players, especially come in this late, the NCAA has kind of a quote-unquote clearinghouse to clear the player.
Yeah.
It's not unusual the NCAA denies players like this. Not unusual at all. Then the school has to go back and appeal. Then they look at it again, and then they say, oh, well, it's similar to this case that we approved it, so it's good. Sometimes they'll say, well, he did play 2 games or something, and we suspend him for 4 games.
And sometimes, in some cases, they're suspended for the entire year. I mean, Kentucky's had that issue a couple of times where they've had players literally have to sit the entire year.
I don't know the whole story here, but at any rate, I know a lot of people have asked about that and are looking at that because this kid's a pretty talented player. So at any rate, you just got to sit tight. It'll get worked out over the next, we've got 2 months before we can play Purdue, so a lot of time to get those kind of things worked out. We want to thank our sponsors, Equitable Bank, West Pacific Dental Group, and Infusion Brewing Company. We will be off for an extended period of time now. Our next show will be September 22nd, I believe. So, we're off next week, then there's Labor Day, then we're off one more week, and then on the 22nd we'll be back. We'll have a full plate of fall sports to talk about. We'll have workouts starting with the basketball teams, both men and women. I know reached out to Coach Flan the other day, so we'll probably get him on. We'll probably get somebody from Fall Sports on here. And then before you know it, we'll be headlong into hoop season. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're getting everything ready. Everybody watching out there, if you have any interest, once again, to be a sponsor of our postgame show, certainly hit us up on Twitter at Bluejay Banter, or email us at bluejaybanter@gmail.com. We'd be happy to look into it for you and give you all the details of it. Thanks again watching our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe and like. It helps us out a ton. And we'll see you in like, I don't know, a month, I guess.
Yeah.
So enjoy all the things going on with the Jays. Go to Go Creighton to check out all the schedules of the fall sports and all the news. And obviously, go to BluejayBanter.com where you can find all the things going on with the Creighton sports, as well as a very active message board. And right now, if you go to Bluejay Banter on Twitter, you will see a tremendous promotion going on by Rivals right now for Bluejay Banter. So go on there. It's 60% off the regular rate. So go on there right now, check it out, and get signed up today. Thanks so much. We'll see you then.